Hello and welcome to another year of The Sports Perspective from our brand new studio. I'm Hayden Grove.
And I'm Franz Ross. Well, school's just getting underway here on campus, and we're settled into our new digs here at the Lantern. The Ohio State football team has been training for camp for nearly a month in preparation for their 2014 football season.
That's right, Franz. On Monday, Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer held the first of what will become weekly press conferences at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And I was there to get the scoop as the Buckeyes began preparation for Saturday's season-opening contest against Navy. After what could be considered a tumultuous training camp for the Ohio State football team following the loss of quarterback Braxton Miller for the entire season, head coach Urban Meyer held his first game week press conference of the 2014 season on Monday afternoon and offered a glimpse of what fans can expect to see on Saturday against Navy.
Yeah, I get excited once again if you have good players, good team, and I'll fake it sometimes if we don't have a good team. But I can tell you this, I think we got a good team.
With less than a week until Ohio State kicks off the season against Navy in Baltimore, Meyer took the time to address a variety of topics heading into Saturday, including the naming of the captains for this 2014 season.
Well, we voted captains, and Braxton Miller was a high vote getter, and Jeff Hireman, Michael Bennett, Duran Grant, which is a great success story, his turnaround, and Curtis Grant, which is here's a guy that once again, that's one of the great things about what we do for a living is to see young people grow up, and boy, has Curtis Grant done a nice job.
Meyer then addressed the various position battles that heated up as training camp progressed, including competitions at left guard, center, and the other cornerback position opposite the newly elected captain, Duran Grant.
Left guard's not named yet, and it's not because of ability. It's just the guy hasn't separated himself. So in the hunt are still Joel Hill, Billy Price, Tony Underwood. They're still in the hunt. Who's the other position?
Center.
Center is going to be probably be Jacoby, and Chad Lindsay will. We haven't named a center starter with that yet either. So those are the two. But it's once again, it's still because the battles are going on.
The other corner spot.
The other corner, it's Eli and Garyon. They haven't separated themselves yet either, which is a good sign. They'll both play.
While he wouldn't divulge the starters at any of the positions hanging in the balance, nor would he release the depth chart heading into Saturday's game, Meyer did say that the lack of a definitive winner in the position battles is actually a good thing for this Ohio State team as a whole.
If they're bad players, you got a problem. If they're really good players and they're just battling, it means they're both going to play, then that's kind of normal this time of year.
Finally, with the worries of his own team out of the way, Meyer addressed the Buckeyes' first opponent, saying that his respect for the Naval Academy and their football program gives him some added anxiety for the first game of the season.
No, and I have such respect for the United States Naval Academy, and I played them when I was at Notre Dame every year, and then we played Air Force every year. I was at Utah and Colorado State, so it's typical back when Air Force was winning the Commander-in-Chief trophy all the time like Navy does now. It's just, incredible efficiency on offense and that odd 3-4 defense where they're all over the place. So it's with good players.
As Meyer left the podium, his players seemed much more confident than their head coach when it came to their opponent and their preparation for this upcoming weekend.
Well, for me personally, it's just like any normal game. Take it. You got to prepare like you do for whether it's week 1 or week 12. You got to prepare the same way. And as far as the team, I think we're used to how Coach Meyer, how we handle our business and how the week goes. And so we're just practicing hard. Today was a Bloody Tuesday. We came out really strong, and just got to keep on preparing. And it's a unique offense, as you know, with the wishbone stuff. So this takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more film to watch. But overall, today was pretty good. I think it was a good day today.
Football is a game. What they do is life and death, and there's a lot of pressure with that. But again, those guys they're going to come with their best shot every time. They're going to play a full game, and we have to expect that. And they might not be the biggest guys or the strongest guys, but they're going to come at you. They're going to be relentless, or they're going to run around and use their skill set to their advantage. So what we have to do is we have to play assignment football.
The Buckeyes will continue their preparation for their battle against Navy before traveling to Baltimore later this week. Until then, reporting for the Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove. As referenced in that last story, the Buckeyes lost one of the nation's most hyped players and one of their senior leaders in quarterback Braxton Miller after he tore the labrum in his right throwing shoulder during a training camp practice. Following the news of Miller's season-ending injury, I was at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center once again to gauge the perspective of the Buckeyes on the loss of their quarterback.
The post-Braxton Miller era has officially begun for the 2014 Ohio State football team, and while the Buckeyes are certainly contrite following the loss of their offensive leader, hope springs eternal and expectations remain high.
I mean, expectations still the same. We're Ohio State Buckeyes, and we're going to move forward, get it going.
They haven't changed, honestly. We just got to compete for championships.
You know the answer to that. We practice 21 tomorrow, and I still like our team. I mean, really like her. After today's practice, really like our team.
Where do the Buckeyes go from here? Following the news of a season-ending shoulder injury to senior quarterback Braxton Miller, that question was asked many times at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center on Wednesday, and while some might have expected the answer to be centered around a certain player and a certain time, Coach Urban Meyer is keeping things focused on the team as a unit at this current moment.
I haven't really given it much thought, other than, we're worried about, one thing that our team's been pretty good at, and I've gotten better at, is just worry about the moment, and the moment is getting a team ready. Quarterback's an important cog, but that's exactly what it is. It's a cog, it's not the team.
Despite the initially positive outlook from Meyer following the loss of number 5, he and others on the team expressed the devastation that ensued following that ill-fated throw on Monday afternoon.
Oh, it was devastating. I mean, it was a bad deal, because first of all, I didn't see exactly what happened, and I thought someone hit him. I was like, I went berserk, saying, what happened, and they looked at me. I said, no one hit him. It was a 7-yard throw.
We all just sat around like, oh, what's going on? Because, Braxton's a warrior. He doesn't do that. So we knew it was serious, and it was just something that kind of shocked us all.
While he was team-centered in his thoughts from the get-go, Meyer did eventually go on to speak about Miller's potential replacement in redshirt freshman J.T. Barrett, saying that number 16 is certainly more prepared than a certain former Ohio State backup quarterback.
I had Tom Herman recite it to our team, and I want to say JT had about 300 competitive throws, not snaps, this fall. Where when Kenny Guyton went into the game a couple of years ago, I think he had 6. So he's had a bunch, and he's a meticulous guy. JT and Cardell's come a long way as well. So our backup quarterback and third quarterback have had 300 competitive throws, not reps, throws. During training camp. And it's not against scouts. Competitive means against offense, defense.
Meyer wasn't quite done comparing Barrett to Guyton, however, as he even coined a phrase that is often used around the facility when describing his now starting quarterback.
Kind of Guyton-ish. He's a very calm, cool, collect guy, has very good leadership skills. That's a term we use around here now, Guyton-ish.
Whether or not Barrett will see the success that Guyton saw in his brief time as the Ohio State starter remains to be seen, but he certainly has earned the respect of his teammates throughout camp thus far.
You guys don't know JT very well, but he's kind of a quiet-spoken guy. But when he gets in that huddle, he takes control of it. Like I said, he does everything right. And when someone does everything right, that's who you look up to.
JT is a really smart, precise guy. He really pays attention to detail. You can tell by the way he's been playing, and I have a lot of confidence in him. He's been playing very well.
Barrett may have the respect of the Buckeyes in the aftermath of Miller's injury, but the Buckeyes as a whole have impressed their head coach with their play and demeanor over the last 48 hours.
I mean, I get excited about good practices, but I think it was, hard to say that wasn't maybe the best practice we've had since our staff's come to Ohio State. High energy, especially for practice 20. Really impressed. The energy, the speed. I think they see the light at the end of the tunnel, so it was a very good day. Practice-wise.
The Buckeyes will look to continue to put together high-quality practices before entering preparation for Navy next week. Until then, reporting for the Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove.
Ohio State fans and students alike may not see number 5 suiting up at Ohio Stadium this season, but they will see a new defensive philosophy headed by co-defensive coordinator Chris Ash. Assistant Sports Director Aaron Yerian headed to Ohio State Football Media Days earlier this month to give us the scoop on the group that's looking to return to its Silver Bullet days.
The sounds of the gridiron can be heard once again in Old Columbus Town, and the conversation today at Ohio State's first Media Day picked up right where it left off in Chicago, with the defense.
We want to be able to challenge the offense, both in the pass game and in the run game. We want to be extremely well coached with the fundamentals, how we use our hands, how we pursue the ball, and how we tackle. And that's it. Right now, our philosophy is we're going to be pretty much a base 4-3 team, on first and second down, and then on third down we'll have different sub packages to get some other skilled players on and get some of the bigger guys off the field.
Sophomore safety Tyvis Powell also weighed in on the new defense.
Yes, I like to hold myself to a high standard. As far as the defense goes, I would say it's more aggressive. Corners are rolled up now, so we're not giving up. We're not going to get beat by any screens like you've seen in the bowl game or stuff like that.
Defensive line coach Larry Johnson had this to say about his squad.
But I do like the group. I think they have a chance to have a special season if we can stay healthy and everything come together. Everybody continue to work hard.
One of the up-and-coming players who's earned a bit of praise from the defensive staff is the true freshman linebacker Raekwon McMillan.
When I first got here in spring, I had to prove myself and show the coaches that I actually can play at this level, call this ball. Even though I was highly recruited in high school, it doesn't mean anything when it comes to college. But it was one of the most important things.
Coming in the spring was really it was really benefited him. I have the ability to be here in the spring where it's a lot more of a learning process. So when he comes into camp, he knows what to expect. He's already been through it. So it shows out there. But on to Raekwon's, on his behalf, he is a very mature kid. So he's gone about his business and all the things that we ask these guys to do about being pros and things. He came in, he was well taught.
The Ohio State Buckeyes kick off August 30th at noon against Navy from Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium. Reporting for Lantern TV, I'm Aaron Arian.
All eyes might be on the football team as they begin their season against Navy in Baltimore at noon on Saturday, but there is plenty of other action going on within the Ohio State athletic realm this weekend. On Friday, the men's soccer team faces University of California, Davis from the Jesse Owens facility at 7 p.m., while the women's volleyball team travels to Eugene, Oregon to take on the University of Oregon Ducks for a match at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. On Saturday, the women's volleyball team continues their action in Eugene with a doubleheader as they face Illinois State at 3 p.m. Eastern and Central Arkansas at 7:30 Eastern. And on Sunday, the men's and women's soccer teams are both in action as the men's team takes on Butler at 2:30 p.m. before the women's team battles Virginia Tech at 6:30. Well, Franz, that's going to do it for our first episode from our brand new studio. And speaking of new, what do you think will come of the new Ohio State football season without Braxton Miller?
Well, it's all up to their freshman quarterback, J.T. Barrett. I mean, he's got a lot of responsibility having to lead that Buckeye football team as a freshman. So we'll see, but there's also a lot of question marks surrounding the offensive line, the new running game, and the defense.
All right, well, we will certainly see what happens with the Ohio State football team, and we hope you will stay tuned for our on-campus sports coverage all year long. For Franz Ross and the entire crew here at the Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove.